Hello my friends, my name is Norma and thank you so much for joining me today. I made some recipes in my Instapot and I wanted to share them with you today. So as we all know, this summer has been brutal. Here in South Texas, the temperatures have been approaching 110 in the evenings and it's just so hot. So I read an article that said that the Instant Pot doesn't heat up the house like the oven or the stove would. And I thought, oh, that's brilliant. I have one, let me try it. I don't have a lot of experience using this, but the meals that I made were pretty simple, pretty easy. So if you want to see what I learned and see the recipes that I made, let's get started. So the first recipe I made was cheesy chicken rice casserole with broccoli. These are the ingredients. I have everything listed in the description box, all the ingredients and all the recipe, as well as timestamps in case you want to skip around to the different recipes. The first thing I did was put the frozen broccoli in a bowl of warm water to thaw it out. And then I cut out the chicken breasts. I didn't measure how much chicken it was, but they are decent sized chicken breasts. In fact, they're rather large. But it was perfect for the recipe. So I added some olive oil to the Instant Pot, and then I chopped up some onions. I would say that maybe was about half a cup, maybe a little bit more. I don't have an exact recipe. I just kind of looked at all the recipes online and kind of put together what I liked about each recipe. So it was about that much. And then I added the chicken and kind of browned that. I didn't really cook it since it was going to be pressure cooking. So I just, like I said, browned it just a little bit and added some garlic and some salt and quite a bit of pepper, it looks like. A little bit of smoked paprika. And then I added a cup of rice and 2 cups of chicken broth. So I use jasmine rice, and that takes a little bit longer to cook than regular rice. So since all the recipes that I saw used the regular rice and said to cook it for 10 minutes, I thought since the jasmine rice takes longer to cook, I would cook it for 14, and that was a big mistake. I should have only cooked it for 10. It would have been perfect. The rice was a little bit mushy. And here my son is giving me directions on how to grate cheese the right way, and as soon as he walks away, I just start doing it the way I like to anyways. So after the 14 minutes is up, I let it sit for about 10 more minutes, and then I release the steam. As you can see, the steam going up. And then I added about half a cup of heavy cream and about a cup of cheese. It could have used a little more cheese. I wouldn't have minded, but it was good like this also. And as soon as I opened up the lid, I should have put the broccoli in the pot, but I completely forgot. It's just put the broccoli in the pot and then close it so that the broccoli can steam a little bit. But again, it still came out good. We ate it. We enjoyed it. I also would have chopped the broccoli up a little bit smaller, or I will the next time I make this recipe, because I definitely will make this again. And this is how I served it, with a side salad and a frozen Red Lobster cheddar biscuit that I made in my air fryer. And on to meal number 2, beef stroganoff. So these are the ingredients, and again, everything is in the description box. And I showed the temperature. It was 107 that day. Awful, just awful. So again, I start by putting the Instant Pot on saute and chop up some onions. This is 1.25 pounds of hamburger meat. I didn't realize how nicely everything browns when you put it on saute. And I added onion and garlic. And at this point, if I would have remembered, I would have put the mushrooms in. So I ended up having to saute the mushrooms on the stove. But it all still worked out. And here I'm draining all the fat out of the hamburger meat. I used the 80-20. If I would have thought about that also, I would have used maybe like the 90-10 or the 94-6. Just a blend without so much fat. And I added water. That was cream of chicken soup and 1 cream of mushroom soup. And 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce that I can't say, and 1 packet of I used the beefy onion Lipton soup, and I can't add either. It was actually 3 tablespoons of the Worcestershire sauce. And the soup still seemed lumpy, so I whisked it, and that really helped a lot. And there's the mushrooms that I sauteed on the stove. And here's another lesson learned. That was a 16-ounce package of the egg noodles. It was way too much noodles, way too much. I would use the 10, maybe use half of that, or maybe if they sell a 10-ounce package, I would definitely use that instead. And I set it to 3 minutes. It only had to cook for 3 minutes, but by the time it builds up steam, it cooks for the 3 minutes, and then you have to let off the steam, which I did for about 26 minutes. It's just like making it on the stove. It probably takes about the same amount of time. And then once it was done cooking, then I added a cup of sour cream. And just stirred it all up, and it was done. And again, another delicious meal. And this I served again with a side salad and a slice of French bread. And meal number 3 is pork ribs, and it was 108 that day. I think it made it up to 109 by the time the temperature reached its high. So I dried off the ribs with a paper towel. I'm not sure why they do that, but it said to, so I did. And then I seasoned it with seasoned salt. Several of the recipes that I looked up said to use a dry rub. I didn't have a dry rub, so I just used a steak seasoning. In the future, I would use a dry rub. It needed just a little bit more salt, a little more flavor. And even though I don't show it, I do wash my hands in between each time I touch the raw meat. And then I'm just rubbing everything in so it's nice and incorporated. And I added 6 cups of apple juice, and I believe it's a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. But again, I'll have all the recipe and the exact measurements listed in the description box. And then a 1/3 cup of barbecue sauce. And every recipe that I said to cook it with the bone side out, but nobody said that there was a top side and a bottom side. And so I'm struggling here to put the ribs in, and you'll see in a little bit what I mean by a top and a bottom. I've never made pork ribs before, so yeah. Okay, and for the side dish, I'm gonna make ranch noodles and cheating can of baked beans. These are really good. The honey ones are the best, but they didn't have any when I went to the store. So baked beans, and then the ranch noodles. I don't know if you've heard of the Suddenly Salad ranch. So it's a copycat of that. So I boiled 2 cups of pasta. It doesn't matter what kind of pasta. I've used all kinds. And I put in some peas and carrots. Oops. And this morning I knew I was going to be making this. I knew I was going to be making this, so I had bacon and egg. I made extra bacon. I think it's about maybe a little bit over 3 slices. I like the thick cut bacon. Kind of just mix that in, and then I made the Hidden Valley Ranch, the seasoning mix where you put a cup of mayonnaise and a cup of milk. But I already had some, so I'm going to use what I had first. And I kind of just made up this recipe because it's all there is in that. The Suddenly Salad one, it's kind of gritty to me. I think it tastes gritty, so I just like the way it tastes better with the semi-homemade ranch dressing. So I guess that was about maybe 1/2 cup, 3/4 of a cup. But the noodles kind of just soak it up, so I like to put quite a bit. Hear my dog drinking water? She's closer to the microphone than I am. Okay, and then I'll just put a little bit more just for fun. That's it. That's what it looks like. It's so good. And when I released the steam, I guess because it had so much liquid, it made a big mess, but easily cleaned and well worth the mess. And this is where I realized that there's a top and the bottom. You see where those little bones stick up? If I would have faced those little bones up, it would have just fit so much better. But again, lesson learned. Now I know. And the next time I'll do better. But look how they just fall off the bones. They were so juicy and so tender. It was so good. And then I spread barbecue sauce all over them, as you can see. So it says in the recipe to put it in the broiler for 5 or 6 minutes, which would mean turning on the oven, which I didn't really think through. But I'm going to put it in my air fryer because my air fryer has a broil setting. So let's see how it works. I've never tried it. Oops. And I broiled them for 5 minutes, but that second little piece I broiled for 7 minutes, and it made a big difference. I would do it for 7 minutes next time. And this is how it looks all served up. I had also made cornbread earlier in the day, so we had it with cornbread. Absolutely amazing meal. I hope you try one of these recipes. I hope you try all of these recipes, and let me know in the comments if you do.